Hello, everyone, and welcome to the BBQ Bourbon and Business podcast show. My name is Helena, and joining me on our inaugural episode is my very good friend and business partner, Luke. Welcome, Luke. How exciting is this? This is our first podcast episode.
It's great to be here, darling. Welcome, everyone. I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing this for quite a while, so I'm so excited to get into it. So, building a business should be fun. So in between sampling some good bourbons and sharing a few backyard barbecue tips that you can impress your friends with, we are going to be sharing practical, non-nonsense strategies to help you stop trading time for money and turn your business into a valuable asset. Build a smart business engine that gives you time freedom to enjoy the things that you love. Things like sipping a good bourbon and low and slow barbecue with friends and family. So if this is you, welcome. Please pour yourself a drink and get comfy. Let's get to know each other and enjoy this ride together. I'm sure we are going to get along just fine. Now, this is our first episode, and we'd love to invite you to be part of our community. Building a business can often be a lonely ride. We know this. So we would love to see some photos of you enjoying your favorite bourbons or other drinks, your special occasions with your staff and family, office parties, or even your own barbecue tips. To do this, upload a picture to your social media pages and make sure you tag the show at BBQ Bourbon and Business, either on Facebook or Instagram. We'll get them both. So, Luke, do you have yourself a drink?
Oh, sure do, darling.
Now, by no means are we bourbon experts, and this is not some snobby bourbon show. You can drink whatever you like or nothing at all. I'm just going to take a quick sip of mine.
Drink prune juice if you want. I'm not going to hold it against you. As long as you're having fun and you're merry, that's what's important.
Yep, you can drink whatever you like, or like I said, nothing at all. But each month we are going to select a bourbon that we enjoy. Why? So that we can share the same drink and drink it together. It will make this feel like less of a lonely ride, and sharing a drink together, we can maybe get to know each other a little bit better. And right now, Luke has a Buffalo Trace. So that's our first that's our first bourbon for the month. It's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's one of Luke's favorite, and it's one of my favorite. And we will be telling you a little bit more about this awesome bourbon in the next few episodes. So please join us, pour yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's get stuck into it.
Right. So this podcast show is all about building your business the right way. Building a business and allowing yourself to enjoy the things that you love doing, because many business owners sacrifice so much while building their business. And you want to build your business so that you're creating a valuable asset to set yourself up for life. You want to make sure that you have something to show for your years of sacrifice, stress, and the struggles. And so today's episode, I want to share with you 3 powerful lessons that I believe will change your life. I call them the 3 Ifs. And I'd like to begin this episode with a story. It's my story. And I believe it reflects many other business owners who were brave enough to embark on this entrepreneurial journey. So I graduated as an engineer from university and got my first job as a junior engineer. But after a few months, I realized employment was just not for me. I couldn't be creative. My ideas were shut down. I was told when I could go to lunch. I'd hated when someone decided when and if I could take a holiday. And no matter how hard I worked, I got paid the same amount each month. That just wasn't for me. And so I quit. And so at the age of 23, my friend Gary and I, we took an idea and we started out with $800 in my father's shed. And we had massive plans and dreams, just like any other person starting a business. And this business was going to give us freedom. I could work my own hours, be my own boss, and not report to anyone. I could go on holiday whenever I wanted and not earn a fixed amount, like an employee. I was going to get paid what I was worth. I was going to get rich and retire and live a lifestyle of my choice. Does this sound familiar?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? As you were talking, I was like, that sounds so familiar. And I think a lot of people can relate to this as well. And they, you know what, I think they're really big driving forces for people when they want to get into business for themselves. And I guess that, you know what, that was one of the big driving reasons for myself as well. A lot of the stuff that you said, being able to choose my own time. I was pregnant when I got into business for myself, and I wanted to be able to have the flexibility of, you know, not feeling guilty if my little boy was sick and having to take time off work, or you know, going to leave on time, not having to wait till 5 o'clock, but leave on time to go pick him up from school or from daycare. And that was a big driving force for me. And I think, you know, those driving forces are, so, you know, those benefits of owning your own business outweigh the risks. And I think that's a big thing for everybody. And it is a reason why a lot of people get into business, and they want to have that lifestyle. They want to have those choices for themselves.
Well, these are the reasons that people go into business, right? To live a lifestyle of their choice and to have time and money freedom. Now, these are the 2 Fs, time freedom and money freedom. But sadly, as you most probably know, only around 4% of all people who start out in business ever achieve their dreams of being financially free. The rest, the other 96%, well, you know, they either fail, give up, or they build their business the wrong way. They strap everything to themselves and create a pressure chamber of stress and exhaustion that they just can't escape from. Now, my first business, you know, Gary and I, we grew this little business, a tiny business, from $800 in my father's shed to a $12 million business in 5 years. We knew nothing about business when we first started, and we struggled for 14 months. But eventually we learned to understand how money flows, how to shift our business into more lucrative niches, you know, where the cash is flowing easily. We learned how to adjust our product offering from, you know, instead of what do we want to sell, to what do customers really want to buy from us. And we learned to market better, and we learned how to joint venture and leverage the resources of others to grow this business. And for 5 straight years, we exploded this business from $800 to $1 million to $5 million to $7 million to $12 million. And man, what a ride that was. And so looking from the outside, things look great. And it looked like we were really set for life, and we really knew what we were doing. And us ourselves, we really thought we knew what was going on. And there's a great quote from Bill Gates, I think. It says, "Success is a lousy teacher because you think you can't lose."
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was us as kids. You know, we won many prestigious awards, and we truly thought, because of all this success as young kids, we had all the answers to building the perfect business. But it was a train racing to a wall at 300 kilometers an hour, and we couldn't even see this. And we hit that wall, and we lost the plot. We lost $12 million. It was a $12 million mistake, and my life changed forever.
You know, I often hear you, I've heard this story before, and I often hear you talk about this time, and you were so young, and you were so lucky that you were so young too, because you could recover, you could take the time. I know, like, you talk about being young and you didn't know much, but at least that youth kind of gave you the time to recover. Imagine having to like do this when you were older, when you don't have the time, when you don't have the chance to recover and rebuild your business. So how do you think what do you think the biggest lessons were from learning that?
Well, I say this was a $12 million lesson. And out of this failure, there were three, the most important lessons I've ever learned about being in business. There are 3 of them. And I refer to these failures, or whatever, lessons. Let's call them lessons. And they revolve around the 3 Fs. Now, most people don't talk about the 2 Fs, money freedom, time freedom. But there's another very important freedom when you're building a business, the 3rd F, and that is mind freedom. Now, in my first business, even though I had 65 staff, was going for 5 years, $12 million sales, and won so many awards, I had none of the 3 Fs. I had no time freedom. I had no mind freedom. I was stressed to death. And that's what was ultimately that burnt us out. Initially, we thought we had money freedom when things appeared to be going great and cash was flying all over the place. We thought we were just marvelous. But the business outgrew us and our skill sets. And, you know, like I said, all the success, we had these egos, and no one could tell us what to do, not a chance. We knew what was going on. We were the dudes, right? And so it didn't matter. And eventually this whole thing imploded, collapsed under pressure, and we just lost everything. So in the end, we had no money freedom. And I think the problem was that we didn't understand the 3 Fs. I mean, what do they actually mean? And I think most people like this. What does time freedom really mean? What does money freedom really mean? And I think mind freedom, which is probably the easiest to understand, but is actually, it's the hardest to achieve. Now, Gary and I clearly got this very wrong. And many other business owners, they get this wrong. And they go about building their businesses for the wrong reasons, and they get stressed, they get worn out, and they never achieve the real reasons why they went into business in the first place. And so these 3 lessons, I believe, are essential for long-term success in your business, long-term happiness, and every entrepreneur and business owner should be aware of that. So what I've done is I've taken these 3 lessons or failures, call them lessons, and I've broken them into 3 questions. And over the next 3 episodes, I'm going to be breaking these all down for you. And they're really, really important. So lesson number 1 is, what does real success look like? And if you are stressed every day, it is probably because you are disillusioned with what real success in life is. Lesson 2 is, what is financial freedom really? And why you and most other people are closer than you think. You actually are. You really are closer to financial freedom than you think. We all are. Lesson 3 is, are you building your business the right way? Or are you setting yourself up for failure, but you just don't know it? Just like I did in my very first business. And in the next episode, we're going to be discussing lesson number 1. What does real success look like, and why so many people are stressed, unhappy, and spend most of their time building their business the wrong way?
Yeah, well, if you're scrambling around just trying to get everything done and not getting anything done, that's, it's a stressful part of business. So thank you for sharing your story, Luke, and thank you for sharing your drink with me, everyone. And thank you all for joining us on this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. It was fantastic to be able to reflect on the reasons why a lot of people choose to go into business for themselves, and to know that we are all doing it for quite similar reasons, even though we might get into it for something else. We'd love to hear from you and what your reasons are as to why you went into business for yourself. Do you relate to the 3 freedoms we discussed in this episode? Or are you struggling with any Luke was, like he did, in your business right now? Please comment and let us know on our Facebook or Instagram page, and make sure you tag us on @BBQ Bourbon Business. I can't wait for the upcoming episodes where we'll be dwell deeper into each of these 3 lessons we learned today. In the next episode, like Luke mentioned, we'll discuss lesson 1, what does real success look like, and how it's different for everyone. So we hope you join us then. By the way, if you want to see Luke's awesome podcast bar and his funky hat and my podcast bar background setup as well, go to our YouTube channel, BBQ Bourbon and Business Podcast Show, to check it out. So to make sure you don't miss out on any new episodes, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you prefer to listen to your podcasts. We look forward to seeing you and sharing a drink together on the next episode. Thank you, Luke.
Cheers, darling. Thank you so much,
Cheers.
everyone. Ka-ching.
Ka-ching.